day, and hopefully, if there's one thing you can take away here, is to be able to think outside the box and to get outside of that box and to do things a little bit differently. So I'm going to take you guys, unfortunately for you, through my life. And you're going to see a lot of the different businesses that I've started and even pre-businesses, but some other things I did. But I never, as a kid, Curious George was my favorite character of all time, and still is to this day. And as a kid, my mom said that I almost killed her a couple of times, and that I almost killed myself a bunch of times. But I wanted to talk to you guys about some of the things I did. One, napalm. I got to tell you the story. So I tried to make some napalm, but I was going to use a hand blender, but I'd already taken apart the hand blender, the old one, the beaters with the beater things on it, and so I had to use this kind of a blender here. So I had heard that you could make napalm, and I go out and I was thinking, you know, what do you probably need for this? Definitely gas. So I have some gas in our blender, and then I got some dish soap because I thought that was probably flammable, and some fertilizer. I heard definitely fertilizer. So I had fertilizer, yeah, and luckily for me, I grew up in a house with an unfinished basement. So I had the extension cord out, my mom's blender down there, had put some fertilizer down the bottom, and then some gas, some dish soap, and I kind of went out to the garage and just had a montage of different choices and selections to make my napalm. And I made up this mix and put it out on the ground in my basement and thought that, you know, I'd be able to light it and see how this thing goes. Well, it didn't go as planned. It was a lot less than even a sterno flame. I think it was probably just the gases of the gas burning off a little bit. So something that I wanted to get across to you is like, I've always been curious. I've always wanted to know. I've always, like, well, you say you can do this, but how do you do it? How does it work? How does it go forward? Needless to say, I didn't want to get in trouble, so I cleaned the blender and stuck it back in the kitchen. Back to HP, back to the hiring process. I knew that there had to be something better, and I started a company called HireView. And HireView is an online video interviewing system that allows companies to interview candidates anywhere in the world via webcam. And so our theory, our thought, and our process is interview more people, give them a standard set of questions, and then you can compare answer against answer to each question. Because the problem with the hiring process, in my opinion, is that you do a few interviews over the course of 2 weeks, and at the end of the time, all you really remember is who did I like the best. You don't remember content to questions. You don't remember answers to questions. And so, but why do we do the hiring process like it is? Like, why do we take 100 resumes and bring in 3 or 4 people to interview? Because that's how we do it. And that's what that title of my talk, because kills. Because kills innovation. And if you stop at because, and you don't keep on drilling into that, then I never, one, would have got to HireView. And HireView still, although I'm not there currently, is my pride and joy. So here we are. This is a mock-up. My site's not live. I am current. That's the name of the tool that we're working on. You can kind of see it here, and I don't know why it's showing up. I have it on my screen, and it rolls my information. But you can see it up here, and it just rolls your feed. You don't have to go to the destinations. You don't have to be at work on Facebook or on Twitter where people are looking at your desktop. It's just kind of your own personalized media feed down at the bottom. And that's what I'm working on currently right now with Overstock. But all of these things have come from like thinking outside the box. And I've learned a lot at working at Overstock on big businesses and how people don't want to stick their neck out because they're just like, man, I just want to do my job. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to lose my job. I don't want, you know, as long as I just kind of do my thing, then I'm okay. I remember talking to the designer about the mock-ups for the website at Overstock, and he said, so you're the product owner, what do you want? And I said, all right, well, I wanted some of your input for one, but you know, current, it looks like a current, something with kind of some blue waves or something, and I had suggested making the C inside of a wave, so the wave came up and looked like a C and did some things. And he was like, all right, well, so what do you think? And he was like, well, I don't want to think about it. And I was like, man, this is so typical that I have a designer that this is what he's here for, but he feels like he has no rights to give input, because at Overstock, it's the same color, it's the same font, it's the same look, it's the same feel. If you do anything different, you probably lose your job. And so I was like, wow, this is really embedding to people. This was killing me to not think outside the box. But this is a completely owned website that Overstock and myself are partnering on. It's imcurrent.com. And so my thought there was that this guy was a designer by trade, but he had no input on design, so why have the designer? And that was a problem with me. One thing is, I talked to you kind of about the birthdays, right? About how on Facebook, you get to see your friends when they have their birthdays, and then you get to see their interests. Is he interested in Moulin Rouge? Is she interested in what kind of music? And so we can pull those interests, and based upon those interests, we can shoot back to you. Here's your friend. Here are their interests. Based upon those interests, here are some great gift ideas. If they're in our database, you can buy one of these and ship it right to their house as a gift from you. Or you can buy it and give it to them yourself. So I put this in, this wasn't, the social media company, the social media department at Overstock was working on that functionality. That wasn't specific to my tool. They were trying to work on that with inside Overstock themselves so that Overstock would have that functionality. And this is what they came back with as a landing page. And I was like, wow. But this isn't my team, right? Nor my department. This has nothing to do with me. I'm kind of an odd thing. And I saw this thing when on that ticker it kind of came through, and I was able to click on it. And this is my friend Lance. And I go Lance, and it shows his interests. And you can see how I'm kind of at the top of the page here. Well, if you scroll all the way down, here are the gift recommendations down at the bottom. And I was just like, wow, this is our best. Like, we're a big company, we should have better than that. So I seriously, I was at my desk and I'm like, well, I can say something because I don't care if I get fired. Like, if they fired me, I don't care. As a matter of fact, I don't know if I guess they could fire me. And so, but I didn't care, and I shot something back out to the team and to the social team, and I was like, no offense, but this is horrible. and I can't believe that this passed. In Overstock, there are so many things that, like, you have to write a ticket in this JIRA database, and in there, then it gets assigned to somebody, and then from there, the design team takes it, and then from there, the Fed team takes it, and then from there, the NOC team takes it, and every single time, somebody has to pass off on it, right? So a lot of people passed off on this by the time it got to my desk. And I shot it out to everybody that I could think of that would ever have had any input on this in the least. And I was like, this is horrible. And it is not our best, and I would not ship that to a customer. And it was funny, I shipped it to my direct report. So I report to one guy, and he reports to Patrick at the company. So I'm kind of like a pseudo-employee, but whatever. And so I said to him, I was like, you had the final say on this. I felt like I hit the snake in the head. I was like, you had the final say on this, and I want your opinion. Is this okay? Because if it is, I'm going to pull the ads from my app. I won't run this landing page through my app. And I felt like if I'm clicking on something to get gift recommendations, I want to get gift recommendations. I don't want to get a 75% white screen. I would feel like this is broken. So anyway, we continued to work on it a little bit, and we came back with this, and it's better. I still don't think it's great, but it's better, right? Now, Laura, I can see her interest right up to the top, and then right here, if I want to, I can click on that, and it will take me to her interests, and I can say, based upon these interests that she has, what did people that bought the Doors CD typically buy, or what did the television, they bought the Office, like what did people that bought the Office typically buy if I wanted to get a gift idea like that? So we're on a better track, right, from that to this. And I could have, and I bet you that if somebody weren't there, because, here's the because, right? Well, that's because that's how we've done it. Like, yeah, that passed everybody's muster. Everybody signed off on that. Let's roll forward. And this is asking the questions, having passion about what we're doing, and putting our real efforts, like using our brains. Like, use your brain. Your brains are the most incredible thing in the world. And getting to hear